Well, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle in Congress remain skeptical about the safety of one of the most popular social media apps in the world. TikTok CEO testified before a House committee yesterday over allegations that Beijing could use the platform to obtain information about American users. Nicole Killian reports from Capitol Hill.
TikTok's chief executive was met with intense skepticism on Capitol Hill Thursday over the app's security and privacy practices.
We do not trust TikTok will ever embrace American values.
Shou Zichu tried to dispel lawmakers' concerns about China's access to American data since its parent company ByteDance is based in Beijing.
ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government.
But when pressed repeatedly,
do ByteDance employees in Beijing have access to American data?
We have employees in China, so yes.
Has ByteDance spied on American citizens?
I don't think the spying is the right way to describe it.
Committee members argue the platform remains a national security threat.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app because it is an extension of the CCP.
Chu said the company is working to build a firewall dubbed Project Texas to store and protect user data in the U.S.
I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data.
I find that actually preposterous.
The panel also probed what safeguards the app has to shield teens from harmful content.
TikTok could be designed to minimize the harm to kids, but a decision was made to aggressively addict kids in the name of profits.
After more than 5 hours, many weren't satisfied.
He was completely vague. That's not sufficient.
In a statement, TikTok fired back, saying the day was dominated by political grandstanding.
Hi everyone, it's Shou here.
Chu's testimony comes at a challenging time for the platform, which boasts more than 150 million American users and more than 1 billion worldwide. Its parent company, ByteDance, is under investigation by the Department of Justice for alleged spying, and the Biden administration has threatened to ban TikTok unless it divests, while Congress pledges more action.
The chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee says she plans to move quickly on legislation involving TikTok. In response to the CEO's testimony this morning, Chinese leaders announced that China has never, nor would it ever, ask any company to provide data or intelligence in foreign countries. Anne Marie?
So, Nicole, it's clear that both parties are concerned about TikTok. I'm curious about the difference in questioning, though, the approaches. Did Democrats ask different questions than Republicans did, or were they basically sort of united?
No, they were pretty much on the same page. I mean, look, you had a number of Republican members who really tried to press the CEO again about the company's ties to China since it's owned by Chinese-based company ByteDance. But, Democrats also went in on that issue equally hard. I mean, you heard Anna Eshoo in our package, say that it was preposterous to her that the Chinese government couldn't potentially have access to Americans' data. And you also had the ranking member of the panel as well question this Project Texas, this U.S.-based firewall to store Americans' data. He said that he doesn't believe either that Beijing would ultimately have control or access to that kind of data. So, it was harsh questioning on both sides, and also with respect to the issue of safety involving teens and kids. And again, you had Chu pushing back against that, saying that, the platform has tried to implement a number of safeguards, whether that's limiting the amount of time kids can spend on the platform, preventing users under the age of 16 from receiving direct messages. But still, as you heard, they're not enough to satisfy a lot of lawmakers.
Yeah. So of course, this is not the first time a congressional committee has questioned a social media CEO. As one pointed out, I want to play a congressman's clip.
You remind me a lot of Mike Zuckerberg. When he came here, I said to my staff, he reminds me of Fred Astaire. Good dancer with words. And you are doing the same today. A lot of your answers are a bit nebulous.
So, you remember when Zuckerberg was being questioned. I mean, some of these lawmakers asked some really basic questions like, how do you make money? Do we get a sense that these lawmakers had a clear understanding of how this platform works?
Yeah, and on the money front, interesting to note that the CEO would not discuss the company's financials. And look, you know, you had some members who acknowledged, especially on the issue around online safety, that, you know, their parents and they may not get the app as well as their kids do, but they do have legitimate concerns about the security of the platform, how it operates. And so from that standpoint, you know, lawmakers really did seem to be pretty read up on the issue, which is why you saw them all going in.
Mm-hmm. Why the focus on TikTok? You know, it sort of occurred to me that there are other, certainly there must be other apps that are owned by Chinese companies or have sort of connections to China. We know there's certainly technology, hardware, Huawei, things like that, that are, you know, these are Chinese companies with equipment here in this country. Why TikTok?
Well, a couple of reasons. You know, in terms of this hearing that was held in the House and with House Republicans in the majority there, they have made clear that they want to take on big tech this cycle. So that is part of why you saw a lot of focus and attention on trying to bring in the CEO of TikTok, which again was his first appearance on Capitol Hill ever. But second to that, I mean, you know, again, this concern about whether or not the Chinese government has access to Americans' data is a very real concern, and it's not just a Democratic concern or a Republican concern. We know even the administration remains concerned about this. You had Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who was on the Hill yesterday at a separate hearing, House Foreign Affairs, and he said to that panel that he believes TikTok is a threat that needs to be ended one way or another. And as we pointed out, you know, the Biden administration has kind of given the company an ultimatum to try to sell off or spin off its Chinese parent company if it wants to keep operating in the U.S. The company has kind of knocked that down, saying that doesn't really solve the problem. But that was also something that came up in yesterday's hearing as well. So I don't think this will end any of the scrutiny that TikTok is facing right now. In fact, some members say they would like the CEO to come back again.
Yeah. All right, Nicole. Thank you very much.